Welcome to English class. In Quarter 1, Week 2, Module 2, we will be talking about visual media. This is part of most essential learning competency. Interpret the meaning suggested in visual media through a focus on visual elements, for example, line, symbols, color, gaze, framing, and social distance. Lesson 1 is all about interpreting the meaning suggested in visual media through a focus on visual elements like line and symbols. First, let's talk about lines. We have here an image coming from the text entitled Preparing for the Volcanic Eruption. Let's take a look at this image. What sort of lines do you see in this image? We have here curved line, straight line or horizontal line, slanting line or vertical line, and this one is intersecting line. So this image was drawn using this different sort of lines you can see in this image. Now, using this image, let us try to answer the following questions. What information does this use of sorts of lines give the audience or readers about the circumstances in this situation? We can say that this image gives representation of the nature of events, like what is happening, and also the circumstances. They indicate movement and direction. Where do lines take your eyes? By looking at the image, we can say that these lines take our eyes to certain directions. Other lines take our eyes upward, others downward, or maybe sideward. However, aside from those, we can also say that these lines also take our eyes to greater or deeper understanding and meaning of the image. By just looking at an erupting volcano in the image, together with the necessary emergency kit, this maybe tells us that we need to be prepared. That preparation is indeed very important. Why has the author chosen to use lines like this? The author may has chosen to use lines like this in order to express actions and ideas and present the situation of the story. How would meaning change if these lines were replaced with different types of lines? If different types of lines were used, the visual image would have been different, and so with the idea it expressed. Remember, choices about use of line in an image include straight or curved line, length, angle, intersection of vertical and horizontal lines, and also direction. Lines are used in images to indicate movement and direction. Lines can be natural, formed by objects in the image, or artificial lines created by the author using subject gaze or pointing, for example. Now let's move on to signs and symbols. We can also interpret the meaning suggested in a visual media by using signs and symbols. Now, let's study the visual image from the story preparing for the volcanic eruption again, used by the author before answering the questions below. So we have there a visual image of an erupting Taal volcano. What type of text is this image from? So this image was used in the text preparing for volcanic eruption. What is this image about? As we can see, this image is about an erupting volcano. What is in this image? In the image, we can see a volcano and a smoke coming from it. Who or what are the participants or characters in the image? We can say that participants in the image are, as what we can see, volcano, or maybe the people living near it. What is happening? From the image, we can tell what is happening, that the volcano is erupting. What information is provided in the image? By just simply looking at the image, we can probably give information that we may say volcano can erupt, therefore people living near it must always be prepared. So always remember that symbols or signs can be used as shortcuts to represent ideas or concepts. Symbolic aspects can include choice of casting, design of hair and makeup, choices of costume, props and objects. It also includes icons. So just like what we did a while ago, even without reading the whole text or story about preparing for a volcanic eruption, we were able to get information by just looking at the visual image using signs and symbols. For example, the dambana ng Kagitingan is a symbol used to represent the heroism of Filipinos who fought for our freedom. Heart symbols are used to represent love, and the color red to symbolize danger, or perhaps romance, depending on the context. Symbols can also be used to present concepts and information in diagrams, graphs, timelines, and other forms of visual information texts. Now let's try this. Try to study this visual image about a line graph and answer the questions that follow. You may ask help from your parents in doing this. Number 1. What sort of lines do you see? Are these lines formed by natural objects or created by an image maker? What information does this use of sort of lines give us? Where do the lines take your eyes? Why has the author chosen to use these lines? How would meaning change if different sorts of lines were used? Another one. With the help of your parent, study the visual image from the story Ibong Adarna and do the activity that follow. You need to answer the following questions based on the image provided. What things do you see in this image which you recognize from somewhere else? Why has the author chosen to use these symbols? What might this mean for what is happening in the story? For this image, Ibong Adarna started to blank and the second prince started to become blank. These symbols might be used here to signify to the readers that the characters in the image or story. And that would be all. Happy learning, and always remember to stay home and stay safe. See you again for our another great day of fun and exciting learning in English. Have a nice day, everyone.